Hi guys, welcome back on Cloud Saviors. So in this video, we are going to discuss about AZ-900 questions, or we can say the basics of cloud computing. So we are going to discuss 10 questions here in this video. Definitely, it's going to be very informative for you. So if you are planning for AZ-900 or if you want to enhance your cloud knowledge, the basics of Azure, Microsoft Azure Cloud, you can also watch this video. So let's start with the video. Okay, so now we have here 10 questions. Let's just discuss them one by one. Let me just focus on the first one. So we have which Azure service is used to store unstructured data such as images, videos, and logs. Okay, so it is asking like what kind of service you can use just to store your images, videos, and logs. Okay, so we have four options here. Okay, now look at me here. We have four options here. First is Azure Files. Second, Azure Blob Storage. Third is Azure SQL Database. Fourth is Azure Disk Storage. Okay, so we have two things. If you know the answer, just click the answer and just move on. Second case, if you don't know the answer, then just follow this particular, I would say technique, what I follow. So what I will do, I will just remove the unrelevant one. Let's say if I know about Azure files, where I can use Azure files, in which a condition I will use Azure files, so I will just remove this particular option. Okay, so first, if you know the answer, just click it. If you don't know, then keep removing the unrelevant one. So let's discuss the option number one, that is the Azure files. Okay, we all know for the images, for the videos, for the logs, you cannot use Azure files, that is for sure. Let's remove the option number A. Okay, let's go for Azure Blob Storage. Okay, that is the answer. We all know that. Okay, because it is a completely unstructured data. As we can see, here is images, videos, and logs. So like they are not specifying any kind of structured data. They haven't mentioned the data would be in any form. Okay, they are just simply saying images, videos, and logs. It means data can be in any form. We can say unstructured data, or like anything, whatever you want to put, you can put it in Azure Blob Storage. Okay, the option number C, Azure SQL DB. We all know that is not the right answer. We cannot store images, videos, and logs in SQL database. Okay, the last option, Azure Disk Storage. Disk storage is not for something you can just directly go unstructured data, images, videos, and logs. No. Disk storage we will use when we have virtual machine, and this needs to be attached to the virtual machine. The moment it is attached to virtual machine, now you can use it like whatever you want to do, but you need virtual machine just to use as your disk storage. Okay, so again we are removing option number D, so the answer would be Azure Blob Storage. Okay, as you can see, we have the answer here. Okay, Azure Blob Storage should be the answer of this particular questions. So you will receive MCQs. Just think about it. Okay, just think about it like what should be the answer and what should not be the answer. Okay, so now we have the answer, that is the Azure Blob Storage. Okay, let's move on to the question number second. That is the which cloud model allows, hold on. Okay, which cloud model allows you to manage applications but not the underlying infrastructure. Okay, so it is asking like if you are going for the cloud, so which cloud model allows you to go for the exact, application and whatever you are running on top of the infra, you will only manage that part. The underlying infra will be managed by the cloud provider, maybe Azure, AWS, or Google, like whatever cloud you are using. Okay, one thing. Okay, so now first option is infrastructure as a service. We all know that that is not the answer, because the question is allows you to manage application but not the underlying infrastructure. In infrastructure, of course, like we manage everything. We manage the VM size, we manage the virtual CPU, we manage everything. Okay, so that is not the answer. Remove it. Second, platform as a service. As a name suggests, You are getting a platform just to work on it. Now, just forget about the infrastructure, whatever running underlying this particular platform as a service. Okay, so that should be our answer. Answer number two. Third one, software as a service. Again, that is not the answer because in SaaS, you are not, handling any kind of infrastructure. You are not handling any kind of platform. You just have one single software that you are using. Okay, so again, just remove this particular option. The last option we have on premises, that is completely irrelevant. Okay, that is completely irrelevant. So you can, like, without even thinking about this thing, you can just roll out this option number D. So now we have our answer. Our answer would be PaaS services, that is a platform as a service. Okay, now, okay, still, if you have any kind of question, any kind of query, please feel free to put in the comment section, or maybe you can reach out on my LinkedIn profile as well. Okay, just search my name, Rahil Mujahid, on the LinkedIn. You will find my profile. Let's move on to question number three. That is a what does Azure provide to ensure high availability across multiple geographic region? Okay, just read it again. What does Azure provide to ensure high availability across multiple geographic regions? Again, that's a very easy one. Since we are discussing the basics of Azure, so definitely the questions and answers would be easy only. Okay, so the first option we have resource group. Okay, if you don't know what is resource group, what is AZ, what is Azure advisor, what is Azure monitor, then you will get stuck. If you know what is resource group and what is availability zone, definitely you will get the answer. Again, two technique. If you know the answer, just click it. If you don't know the answer, if you are still doubtful that this is a right or wrong, just rule out the wrong ones. Let's suppose I know what is the exact meaning of resource group and where I can use it. So it's a kind of a wallet where I can put my resources, whatever I create on Azure portal. Okay, so we call it resource group. Okay, I can just roll out that this option should not be the answer. Okay, so let's roll out the option number A. Let's go for availability zones. Okay, we'll discuss it later. Let's go for option number C, that is the Azure advisor. I know about let's suppose just I know about Azure advisor. Okay, but not about availability zone. I know that option number C, Azure advisor, it advise you, okay, where you can optimize your cost in terms of infra or whatever you are doing on your Azure platform. So it will advise you, but the action that has to be taken by you only. That is the work of Azure advisor. Again, I'm just ruling out this option number C. It is not the answer. Let's go for option number D, that is the Azure Monitor. Again, as the name suggests, Azure Monitor, it will monitor your infra. It can create alerts for you, can create action group for you. So, like as a name, you can see that should not be the answer. What we have now, option number B, that is the availability zones, and that is the right answer. This is like this technique will definitely work, but again, you should know the basics of as Microsoft Azure. It's not like you can just go with the random answers. It's not like that. Okay, again, so still have any doubt, you can comment in the comment section. We'll cover that thing as well. Okay, it was the third one. Now let's focus on the question number four. That is the which feature helps you control access to Azure resource using roles. Uh, Such an amazing question. Okay, so option number one. Okay, let me just tell you the questions again. Which feature helps you to control access control to Azure resources using roles? It means we are having some roles. By giving these roles, you are accessing the Azure resources. Okay, so option number one, Azure Sentinel. Option two, Azure Policy. Option C, Azure RBAC. Azure option number D, Azure Defender. Okay, so let's just talk about the option number one, that is the Azure Sentinel. Okay, Azure Sentinel, as we all know, it's not even nearby about accessing, roles and resources. It's a complete service. okay, where you which you can use by you with the combination of Azure Security Center and then Azure Sentinel. So it is having a different purpose, okay. It's coming under the infra security part, okay. Now option number two, we have Azure Policy. Azure Policy is somewhere nearby the answer, but not exact. That is not the exact answer, okay. Let me tell you. Azure policy is something which you can enforce on over the infrastructure, maybe on resource group level, maybe on any kind of a subscription level, okay? Maybe on resource level as well, or maybe on management group level, okay? Not getting my things? Okay, let's just forget it. Okay, so Azure policy is simple terms. It's a kind of a, I would say, enforcement which you can put over the resources. For example, let's say you have a subscription and you mentioned that every virtual machine needs to be created inside India region or maybe inside UK region, maybe inside USA region. So how you can do that? User can create wherever they want to create a virtual machine, they can do it freely. Now we have policy. If you put the policy that yes, every virtual machine has to be created under as per regions, maybe India or maybe UK or any other specified region, a user would only be able to create virtual machine inside those regions only. That is the policy. Just again, we can ignore this one. Third one, we have Azure RBAC. Okay, role-based access control. Okay, we'll discuss it. Option D is your defender. Again, defender, again, as the name suggests, it is like something coming under security. Okay, we can easily rule out this option number D. Now we have our answer, that is the Azure RBAC role-based access control. By using RBAC, you can give the access or as a owner, as a contributor, as a reader, or like whatever you want to do, you can give access and revoke access by using role-based access control. Okay, that is our answer. Let's move on to the question number five. What pricing model lets you pay only for what you use? Very, very easiest one. First one, upfront payment. B, reserved instance. C, consumption based model. D, annual commitment. Okay. Again, let me just revise the question for you. What pricing model lets you pay only for what you use? Whatever you are using, you are only paying for that thing only. Upfront payment is not the answer because you are paying before using that resources. Just rule out this thing. Reserved instance, we are reserving some kind of consumption, some kind of power, some kind of instances, then we are paying. Okay. Option C, consumption based model. Option D, annual commitment. Okay, we can rule out option number A, option number D, because it's a annual commitment. We are not committing anything. We will pay whatever we are using here. Okay. Consumption based model. Now the confusion is question number C, option C and option B. In reserved instance, what we do, we are reserving some power. Okay, so we are paying for that thing. Okay, that is the, I would say, if I compare the costing, that would be the highest one. That would be the, not the cheapest one option. Now the consumption based model, that is the right answer. Let's check it out. Okay, so we have consumption based model. By using this thing, you only pay whatever you are using on Azure portal. Next, let's move on to the question number six. Okay, which Azure service provide a fully managed relational database? Which Azure service provide a fully managed relational database? Option number one, Azure Cosmos DB, Azure database for MySQL, Azure database for PostgreSQL, and SQL database. Okay, so just discuss them one, just focus on them one by one. Like option number A, Azure Cosmos DB. Okay, Azure Cosmos DB is not RDBMS. First of all, what is saying? Relational DB. So it should be relational database. The first answer, first option, we can rule out. Second, Azure database for MySQL, Azure DB for PostgreSQL, and then we have SQL database. Okay. Now, let's just go for the question again. Fully managed relational database. MySQL is not fully managed. It's again, it's not something that you have to manage it. Okay. Again, you can rule out option number B. Third, Azure database for PostgreSQL. Again, not a fully managed one. What we have now? SQL DB. Okay, let's check the answer now. Okay, so now we have the answer is correct answer option number D, SQL DB. It's a complete platform as a service provided by Microsoft Azure that you can just deploy and just start working on it. Okay, everything will be taken care by Microsoft only. It's a completely fully managed service offered by Microsoft. So the answer would be option number D, SQL database. Okay. Next we have question number 7. Which tool helps estimate Azure cost before deployment? Okay, option number 1, Azure Monitor. Again, we all know what does Azure Monitor do. Option number B, Azure Advisor. Of course, answer is no because we discussed this already. Option number C, Azure Cost Calculator. Option number D, Azure Pricing SLA. Azure Pricing SLA is nothing. There is nothing like that. We have no any kind of resource or anything like that. So the answer would be Azure Cost Calculator. That would be very easiest one. Okay, let's move on to the question number 8. What is the main purpose of Azure Load Balancer? Okay, option number 1, encrypt data. Option number B, distribute incoming traffic. Option number C, monitor resources. Option number D, provide DNS services. Okay, let's discuss the first one, encrypt data. As your load balancer, if you go from the name like load balancer, something that will, like balance the load coming from the client, something like that in a very non-technical term. Okay, so encrypt data would not be an answer. We all know that. Let's go for second one. This is something looking like option number B, distribute incoming traffic. That might be the answer. Okay, so let's just keep on hold on the option number B. Monitor resources. Again, we all know which resource monitor resources, that is the Azure Monitor. So we can rule out the option number C. Now the D, provide DNS service. Again, DNS service is again a completely different service that is not coming nearby of these, the options. So let's rule out the option number D as well. Now what we have? Option number D, distribute incoming traffic. That is the our answer. Okay. Now, question number 9. A company wants to prevent employees from creating resources that don't meet company standard. Which service helps? I just explained this thing just, I think 4 to 5 questions. Okay. 4 to 5 questions back where we were having as your policies. Okay. So I explained the same thing, like whatever we have in the question, I explained to you like what should be the answer. Okay, so option number A is your blueprint. Again, that is not the answer. As your policy, we know that is the right answer because policy is something which you can define like what needs to be done and what need not to be done inside the company infra or inside your as your subscription. As your firewall is not something that can prevent, like creation of the resources. That's a no. As your sentinel, again, it cannot prevent any kind of, like a resource that would be created. So the answer would be as your policy. We all know that. Okay. Okay, now the last questions of this. Okay, somehow I just revealed the answer. That is fine. Okay, so what is the advantage of cloud computing? That is the very easiest one. Higher upfront cost, limited scalability, elasticity, and on-demanding scaling, manual provisioning. Okay, the answer would be elasticity and on-demand scaling. Higher upfront cost, that is not the advantage. Limited scalability, that is not true. Elasticity and on demand scaling, that is true. I mean, whatever you want, if you want to increase by 20 virtual machine, you can increase it. Okay, it's completely on to you, like how many infra you want. Okay, you can scale out. If you are in India and you want to create any resource in US or in Australia, you can do it. Okay, so there is nothing like a whatever you want to do, you can do on the cloud. Okay, if you think that I'm sitting here and I want to manage my infra in any another country, you can also do that. You can deploy your infra in any another region, in any another country. Okay, manual provisioning. Okay, again, that is not the advantage again. So the right answer would be the C, elasticity and on demand scaling. So that's all. Like these are the 10 questions that we discuss. You may cover these questions as a AZ-900 examination, or if you are new in the cloud, you can also go for these questions as well. Definitely, I hope it may enhance your knowledge, the basics knowledge of cloud computing when it comes to Azure portal. Okay, so that's all about this video. If you are new here, make sure you subscribe Cloud Saviors. So I'll see you again in the next video. So thanks for watching. If you are still here, again, if you have any kind of questions or any kind of query, just feel free to put a comment, or you can just message me on the LinkedIn as well. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Thank you so much.